In today's show, we're going to be taking a look at a brand new Metroidvania game coming out this year in 2022 for your Sega Genesis and Mega Drive. My name's Mike, and this is the Retro Gamer Boy Show. Welcome back to the Retro Gamer Boy Show, and this week we're going to be taking a look at a brand new stunning Metroidvania game for our Sega Genesis and Mega Drive. Now this game is from 𝗵𝗺𝗃𝗄𝗃, the team that brought us Metal Dragon, the awesome top-down parody shoot 'em up. Well, just like last year's hit Metal Dragon, they're bringing over another one of their MSX titles to the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive. And just like last year, you can pre-order it now for it to be shipped in November and December of this year. The team have sent me over a demo, and we're going to be doing a full preview of this brand new Metroidvania game and asking, is it worth pre-ordering? The year is the future, and humans are conducting scientific research on Mars when they discover frozen bacteria. Shortly after the breakthrough discovery, all contact with the scientific colony is lost. 9 months later, a ship from Earth arrives carrying a technician tasked with restoring communications at the colony. And this is where life on Mars Genesis begins. Life on Mars is a Metroidvania style game. This means that it's non-linear and there are multiple paths through the game. These paths and the progression through them are gated by the need to collect items or gain certain abilities. The game is also a port from the MSX, although saying it's a port doesn't do it justice. It's more of a remake with visuals, level structure, core mechanics and enemy AI all getting overhauled. The game starts you off with a subtle tutorial, much like Mario. You learn the basics of run and gun as you play through the first few seconds of the game. The designers then slowly increase the enemy interactions, getting you used to the moment-to-moment gameplay before bringing you a kind of nexus to the Mars colony. It's here where we're introduced to the mechanics of the Metroidvania design. There are several routes you can take, but all but one require you to have an object or skill to progress. For example, you can take an elevator up to the hydroponic farm, where if you can survive the onslaught of mutant chickens, you'll find your way blocked by overgrown vines. Or you can fight your way past the horrors contained within the cryogenic chambers in the workshop. You'll find that you can't jump high enough to progress any further in this section. And so you will explore the world looking for a route you can take that will hopefully supply you with an item or skill that you can use to open up another area of the colony. As you explore the map, you will encounter the station's robot helpers, who have all gone just a little psychotic. These enemies have various attack patterns that you'll need to avoid and return fire to destroy them. You're able to duck and fire, shoot left and right, up and diagonally up left and right. You can also jump. Using these base skills, you'll traverse platforms, taking out enemies as you go. The gun gameplay is very fluid and satisfying, although I wish duck was just a little bit more helpful, as ducking won't help you avoid a projectile that is coming straight at you. It's used more to shoot under obstacles and avoid diagonal shots from above. You have, from what I can see in the demo, unlimited firepower, but as you continue firing, your rate of fire will drop. And the only way you can restore your rate of fire is pausing, which is a real problem when you come up against a group of enemies on either side. You really need to manage that rate of fire or you'll find yourself in some real trouble. Luckily, you're able to find upgrades for your weapon, and there are terminals where you can upgrade the duration of your fire rate, but more about that later. You also have health that reduces as you get hit. Lose too much health and you're dead. But you can regenerate this health if you collect the green cells that drop from the enemies as they're destroyed. And here's where the game introduces the notion of currency. You see, these cells not only restore your lost health, but they can also be used to buy weapons and health upgrades. So you'll find yourself taking risks to hunt down enemies to get their precious cells. As you clear out enemies, they don't respawn unless you leave the area and return to it. This allows you to grind for power cells, although this is a slow grind and it might be quicker just to play through the game. But if you're that kind of player who likes to grind until you max out everything and then complete the game, it looks like you'll get this option. I mentioned that once your life runs out that you're dead, but your progress can be saved and there are checkpoints. Throughout the colony there are terminals. Just passing one of these terminals will give you a checkpoint to return to. You can also press start to save your progress, so you can put the game down and pick it up again and start off where you last saved. One of the first items you'll collect is a grenade launcher. It works in the same way as your base weapon, with its rate of fire reducing as you use it and only regenerating when you stop firing. This item will open up a whole new path within the world, but also allows you to dispatch enemies faster and unlock a few previously blocked secret areas. Each area contains a number of upgrade terminals, upgrade collectibles, base enemies, a key item or skill, and a boss. The boss encounter in the demo has a patterned attack, so learn this and you'll dispatch it without too much effort. Beating a boss rewards you with a ton of cells to restore your health and to spend on upgrade terminals. I really enjoyed the implementation of the core mechanics. Traversal is nice and I never got frustrated with the navigation over the different platforms. Gunplay is great and collecting and upgrading mechanics bring some real substantial depth to the gameplay. If I can make a few requests of the dev team, it would be to add a run. Once I've cleared out an area, I just want to run to the next place. A double tap here would be super useful. I'd also like the duck to be more useful. Maybe keep the duck but add a power slide for a short distance so I can dodge projectiles. A simple implementation like down and jump on a 3-button pad or a dedicated action on a 6-button pad would be perfect. The game has had a complete overhaul visually from the team's original MSX game. It now has a more digitized feel, a more mature look to it compared to its more simple graphical pixel art style it had on the MSX. Something like Mortal Kombat. The art style is nice and helps add to the ambience, although it's not consistent. There are areas in the world where cleaner pixel art is used, and this does stick out like a sore thumb. Now this may just be placeholder for the demo, but it was very distracting to see repeating patterns of mud and grass next to the digitized backgrounds of the colony, or big grey blocks with no detail in the control room. Again, this may all be placeholder stuff for the demo. The animation on the character is amazing. The run and gun looks great, and there's some nice secondary animation on the character as well. Enemy animations are okay, with some really nice explosions, and some of the flying enemies even crash land when shot. Not too far in the game you'll come across some of the human inhabitants, and they seem to have been zombified. Killing them sees their body parts go flying across the screen. But there is a distinct lack of blood splatter. Come on guys, we need a decent blood splatter. Your health, fire rate and weapons are all shown in the top left-hand corner of the screen. They do a good job of describing what's happening and are a big improvement over the MSX version. Something I couldn't see happening though was the bars increasing as I upgrade either of the stats. I hope they implement this, as it's a great reward mechanic in games to see your character's progression, either through changes to the character itself or on their attributes UI on the screen. There's also a map and stat screen that you can bring up with a long press of the start button. Here you'll see your stats, the number of cells you have, and the areas you've explored with your location. The screen is a little simple, and I hope the team adds some nice storytelling visuals here. Maybe it could look like the character's holding it, or that the information is on a device. It's little touches like this that can help lift a game up. Particles are great, with some meaty explosions and shrapnel being thrown all over the place. It would be nice to see your gun have some muzzle flash, but this is just some extra polish. The game has some great opening cutscenes helping to establish the narrative and world you're playing through. The sound design in this game is excellent, with some lovely sound design on your gun, explosions and organic beings exploding. The audio tracks are also well scored and really help set the ambience of the world. There is an issue with the soundtrack in that there is often not a smooth transition between some of the tracks, and there are notable starts and stops that can be heard. Again, this is a demo I'm previewing, so it might be fixed during the rest of development. Life on Mars Genesis from the demo is shaping up to be an excellent game. They've really nailed the core mechanics of the game. Run and gun, exploration, upgrading. It's all there. It's a true Metroidvania style game for our Sega Genesis and Mega Drive. And with just a few tweaks on some of the visual elements and the audio, this will be an absolute must-have game for 2022. Now, if you've enjoyed this show and you're new to the channel, you love retro gaming, you love the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive, you love hearing about brand new games for old consoles, then why not consider subscribing by clicking on a little button just below this video. We make brand new shows every single Monday, and so that you never miss one, you can also click on a little bell just below this video. Now, if you can't wait until Monday, don't worry, because we've got a huge back catalogue of retro gaming videos for you to enjoy. 2 of which you can watch over here.